So the way I see it, authenticity is basically a series of aesthetic decisions. And part of those decisions are choosing what not to do. So as an example, this video is filmed in lo-fi quality on whatever I happen to have laying around with no real production value. And in that sense, it feels um, instantaneous, authentic, representative of something more real than like a Mr. Beast video. But if you've seen the recent Dan Olson Folding Ideas video on Beast games, you might have seen this section in which he's talking about how, despite having all of these cameras on set, Mr. Beast fails to actually capture a particular money shot in decent quality, and that money shot is blurry and out of focus and low quality, overly digitally cropped, and so on. And so, in that situation, does that feel authentic or does that feel like a production mistake? I would say it feels like a production mistake. So, what we're doing here is making a series of production decisions to signal a sort of allegiance against, I'm not Mr. Beast, look at me, I'm a different guy, I'm authentic, I'm punk, whatever, uh, that he doesn't want to signal, right? Um, and those are just aesthetic decisions, and they have as much validity as any other aesthetic decision. Non-aesthetic decisions can never actually be radical, is really what I'm trying to say. This notion, this is what I really want to fight back on, which is not explicit in any of the Shitty Kickflips videos, and I think she would probably agree with me. So I don't know why I'm acting as if I'm like arguing against her or anything. Uh, how do I put this? The logic of authenticity is not radical. Uh, it is it is cop logic. And let me explain. It is the logic. It is the same logic which says present your true self, as in present your papers. Don't cover your face when you're walking past the facial recognition CCTV camera. Take off your mask. Um, Show me your ID. What's your name, young man? It is that same logic. It goes, there was this utopian Silicon Valley ideal that on the internet we could all be who we really were. And now, being who you really were is not only is it encouraged, it's enforced. You have to be who you really are. If you ever try not to be, everyone gets really mad at you. Sometimes they don't even let you. If you try and make a fake profile on Facebook, they just ban you instantly and they force you to verify with ID. Now we have all these age verification laws which force you to verify with ID. It no longer, now you are free to be who you truly are inside. Now it is, no, you must be who you truly are. You are not allowed to be anyone else. You must be yourself. It's gone from something which was perceived as a freedom. In regular society, I have to pretend to be someone else, but here I'm free to be who I really am, to now something which is strictly enforced. You are not free to be anything other than who you really are. Well, I'm sorry. I don't want to be who I really am. I don't want to present myself up for your constant surveillance and documentation. Actually, it's nice to be someone else from time to time. And so that's part of it. But then let's go dig down into the reason why that's bad. Because if we really did have authentic selves and being our authentic selves was desirable, then why would this even matter? It's because we don't, and we can never be that person. Um, I know this is not necessarily the common trope. I think a lot of well-meaning liberals have utilized this sort of rhetoric. You know, they're trying their best. That it's a especially with regards to identity issues, right? Isn't it great that gay people or whoever take your pick can be who they really are, and they don't have to. And that is great. Don't get me wrong. It's good that you're allowed to be gay. Okay, we're all we're all in favor of that. But uh, the part which I don't like is the uh, the rhetoric, which is it's rhetorically useful. It's a good argument. Don't you think that everyone should be allowed to just be who they are? Is nice. But what if you want to be something that's not who you are? And this is why I think um, with a lot of I feel like we're getting off topic. We're getting very broad, but let's do it. Let's get real broad. Let's give me let's give my takes on gender. That's what we're all here to listen to, right? Like, what if who you are right now is not who you want to be? Not because you're someone else deep inside. There is no deep inside, but because you just want to be that something else is more interesting to you, right? Like, what's the problem with that? Um, this is a classic tradition within queer communities with things like drag in the more old school, or perhaps you could even say in the modern internet queer community, something like RP fits into this culture. Furries, you know, anything as simple as having an anime profile picture. Uh, it's nice to not be your authentic self, but beyond that, uh, there's you can't be your authentic self because as I so this is what I was damn this is real janky arguments I'm putting in place where I'm bouncing all over the place. Uh, so the thing I said at the beginning about the authenticity not being real, it just being a series of aesthetic decisions. Like the fact that authenticity in this instance comes down to the way you choose to present yourself is what I take issue with, in the sense that this is a um, this is the cop logic. This is the thing which is believed to exist but cannot really exist. As I said, it's impossible. Precisely when you think you're being your most authentic self, precisely when you think you're saying exactly what you believe and you're doing exactly what you want to do, that's the moment when ideology is most effective on you. When I left my original comment, everyone got real mad. I don't know about if Shitty Kickflips got mad. She seems mostly chill. But some people responded to me getting real mad. They didn't like it. No one likes it when you say you're not really you. But it's I'm sorry. I guess woke won't let me say this anymore. But the self is actually illusory. I guess it's too much for woke, but capital has infested even our very sense of humanity. Uh, all that we have left are a series of images and simulations which have replaced where reality once stood. I guess you can't say that anymore because of woke. I don't know what this bit is, but the point is, the very choice to sit here right now in front of you and give my real opinions on this to the camera is fundamentally inauthentic because this is a series of images going past at 25 frames per second. This is not me. Ceci n'est pas une pipe right now. You know what I'm saying? Um, this is the least authentic thing I could possibly do because it's literally not real. This is not real. You're looking at a fucking picture on a screen that is made of pixels, and that's just the surface level of it. Because even if you were in the room right now and I was talking to you, I would be consciously or unconsciously putting on a performance based on how I want to come across. I want to be seen as cool. I put this hat on so that you can't see me. The fact that I'm balding and it doesn't look very good, right? Like, is that? I'm not presenting my authentic self right now. I made a decision to grow this beard because my chin is not particularly strong, and that doesn't make me look so good aesthetically. So there are decisions in how I've decided to present myself to the world as a person, which is that authentic? what does it mean to be, when you're asking questions like that? It's like, what does it even mean to be authentic? Uh, when I'm giving you my opinions right now about authenticity, how much of this is just because I want to look cool, being a contrarian? Probably some degree of it, right? Maybe to a degree I'm not even aware of. Uh, when another person who disagrees with me uh, talks about the benefits of authenticity, often from a sort of punk perspective, right? Uh, what do they call it? Three chords in the truth. That's what they called punk. Three chords in the truth, man. The truth is important, right? Uh, give the authentic truth. They may be attached to that notion because the reality principle being challenged makes them feel all fucked up. I don't know what's real anymore. I need something to cling on to, right? Like, hopefully, this thing is real. Or you look around, you see, all of the pop artists and commercial art in the world is so inauthentic, it's just made for profit. Isn't it so great that we have all of these independent artists who are making stuff that's just authentic? Well, I'm sorry, but uh, there's nothing fundamentally distinct about a commodity made by an independent artist and a commodity made by a corporation, other than side factors like the amount of money that went into it, or how consciously aware they were that they were doing it for profit. But under capitalism, you can't do anything which isn't co-opted. You can't make it. You can do a little bit. You could do a little bit, but you're always going to be uh, immersed, consumed, like a macrophage eating you up. You're the virus, and a macrophage killer T cell is capitalism. That's an interesting metaphor. For some reason, capitalism is the immune system. I guess you can figure something out. What I mean by that is when you choose an authentic set of aesthetics, and when you choose to signal authenticity among the other signs in your uh, communication, those signs didn't come out of nowhere. They are something that you've already been exposed to, and you are merely simulating what you have seen and felt. This feels like authenticity to me. This was something I felt was a little strange about the Shitty Kickless video, was the sort of, and this I'm just not, I just don't particularly follow the rationale here. The acknowledgement that uh, of this whole society of simulations, but then to falling back on this sort of, yes, but that's how I feel at the end of the day. I feel when I see something like this, I feel like an authentic connection. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's the how fucked up it is. That's the problem. That's the bit that's the most inauthentic part. That's the most simulated part. If only I wish our feelings could be our own, but they're not, and they haven't been for quite some time. Maybe they never were. Um, and that's the most doomer black pill part of all this is that is the whatever you think is the most real is actually the most fake. Um, so when I don't know, whatever, I could go over examples, I suppose, but the point is, I don't really understand how well I feel like it's authentic is actually a any form of rebuttal. Not that anything was necessarily being rebutted. This is all a nice and friendly and good faith discussion, of course. Uh, but I'm not sure I follow the logic. If it's true that what underlies society is simulation and inauthenticity and signs, then why would you expect your emotions to somehow be independent from the social? That our emotions are born out from the social. Language is fundamentally intertwined with the social. It is the social inside of us. You weren't born speaking, but now you can't unspeak. You can't unlearn language unless you suffer some sort of horrible accident or something. It's not good. I'm not a fan. But anyway, well, I kind of like language actually. I don't know how I feel. I personally made peace with all this. Is my point, okay? So I'm saying this is all blackpilling, but is it that blackpilling? Because ultimately, isn't it nice to be able to say, you know what? There is no intrinsic good in authenticity. There's no intrinsic good in inauthenticity. They are both tactics and tools which must be used whenever they are most appropriate. That's the way I see it. The aesthetics of, just like any other aesthetic, that I put a guitar. I looked over here where my bass guitar normally is, but it's not there right now. I was gonna pick it up and but I couldn't do it because it wasn't there. But I could put some guitar on this track because it would fit real nice. Oh, but this other track, nah, guitar wouldn't fit on this, right? It's just an aesthetic choice like any of these other aesthetic choices, right? And therefore, in my view, it's not necessarily valuable in itself. That doesn't mean that the aesthetics are not useful in certain times, in certain places. As I said, inauthenticity is an undervalued aesthetic. Inauthenticity is very useful when the cops are coming. You don't want to be yourself. And oh boy, the cops are coming. Okay, they're already here. They're looking at us right now. So perhaps it's we may want to try and get a little bit out of this. It might be useful. It might be useful, or at least interesting to see how we can utilize imperceptibility, disappearance, pseudonymity, anonymity, inauthenticity, lying, trickery, masks, and so on, to evade power, as it may be. Because power right now is, we used to have this disciplinary society. You know what? We're going to go through the whole fucking thing. Fuck it. It's my video. I can do what I want. This is my authentic video, and I can make it as long and rambly as I want. Power used to have this disciplinary edge, which forced you to shut up and go to work, or I whip you, or I eat you, or I kill you, I take away your money, whatever. And it has since transformed into a different kind of power. Deleuze calls these control societies. And that kind of power says, no. Instead of disciplining you when you do something that's wrong, it's flipped, and now it's, rather than being negative, it's positive. We encourage you to be who you really are, to improve yourself and become a more productive member of society, and so on. And always be speaking. Always say truth. Always say what you think, right? And then along come the data brokers, and they take all of that information. And along comes the surveillance state, and it takes all of that information, and it uses it to control the population. As Guattari said this, he said something along the lines of, you know what, I'm going to get the exact quote up, and I'm not even going to cut the video. You're just going to have to sit here while I type it in. Guattari, it might have been Deleuze, actually. Deleuze, what would the quote be something about? It's something about, like, repressive something don't stop you from speaking. Let's see if I can find it. Your repressive forces, here we go, I found it. It's not a problem of getting people to express themselves, but of providing little gaps of solitude and silence in which they might eventually find something to say. Repressive forces don't stop people from expressing themselves, but rather force them to express themselves. What a relief to have nothing to say, the right to say nothing, because only then is there a chance of framing the rare and even rarer thing that might be worth saying. If you look, I mean, what other possible example of this being true could you need than to look at the most popular massive companies right now? You've got your Twitters, your Facebooks, whatever. What do they present you with when you log into some sort of one of those websites? I don't have an account on any of them. I don't know what I was going to do. But when you log in, what do? Immediately in your face is a text box that says, "Say what's on your mind." What are you up to? They always have a little question like that, right? As a little prompt to prompt you. There's OpenAI. What do they want you to do? Oh, well, there's a little text box that says, "Ask any question in the world, and our stupid fucking little chatbot will answer it for you." Right? Like all of these companies, they want us to speak first, and then we think, they're giving us a place to express ourselves. That's so benevolent of them, or something. No, it's the opposite. It's the opposite. I'm telling you. We've got enough expressing ourselves. We've got enough expressing ourselves, and the more you express yourself and the more authentically you express yourself, the more you're giving them control. What you should, I'm not going to say what you should or shouldn't do. That's up to you to decide. But isn't it worth thinking that maybe there's another tactic available here? Is it worth considering that perhaps we might want to shut the fuck up from time to time? We might want to stop it. We might want to leave it alone. I appreciate the irony of what's going on right now. We all appreciate the irony, okay? It's ironic. But perhaps it's not necessarily shut the fuck up, although that is useful. Don't talk to the police. We all know not to do this. These guys are the police, so don't talk to the police is a good thing. But if you want to, then fucking lie, okay? I've done this many times. I've gone on to all sorts of platforms and whatever, and just lie to them, and who's going to stop you? I make music, and what is music? It's a performance. It's like acting, right? I write a song about an emotion I felt at one time, but what I'm doing is making up some sort of, it's like a stage performer. A performer gets on stage and they don't really feel the emotion of their character, but they embody the character until they can simulate whatever feeling it is. Well, all art is similar to that, where sometimes I've been really sad, and I've put that sadness into a song or whatever. Another emotion. Other emotions are also available. And sometimes I've been like, I should write a song about that sad thing that happened. Other emotions are available. But either way, I'm turning some sort of indescribable emotion into a set of signifiers, a set of aesthetic decisions. And in doing so, I kind of feel like I'm taking its power away from it. That's why it's cathartic for me. By in some way reducing its reality, by simulating it, by turning it into something inauthentic. And this is the same power which power itself uses on us, which is that it simulates everything. Everything is before it even happens, it is simulated in the market through predictions, in politics through polling, in grander politics through theory, predicting what's going to happen next, and so on. This is the whole notion of pre-recuperation. So that's pretty much my thoughts on all that, I guess. I'm not sure what it means. I'm not sure what I meant by it, but I would question. Basically, I would, if to in a conclusion type of situation, authenticity is impossible because you're always performing authenticity, right? And by that very nature of being a performance, it can't also at the same time be real, right? even to yourself, by the way. By the way, important. It's not just when you talk to other people. The person you lie to the most is yourself. And even if you don't know it, because you think you even have a self, and that's a lie you're playing on yourself, and you can't really stop playing that lie on yourself. Um, you can like, I don't know, Google that. You can Google that if you want. Uh, so it's nothing but lies on the one hand. That's the first thing. Is authenticity is impossible, but there's we all have this kind of innate sense that we're really struggling to be authentic because it's not possible. But the architects of our reality have latched onto this desire, this struggle, which comes from, I mean, I don't know, read Schopenhauer, right? Like a sort of you could a discontinuity with the rest of the world, perhaps, if you were to take Bataille's word for it. And they've latched onto that, and they've turned it into, no, this is a product we can sell. We can sell the idea that you don't feel like yourself because you're not. But what if you could, by typing into a text box on a computer, by recording a video and putting it onto our servers, or whatever else, by recording an album and putting it on our streaming platform, anything else like this. And then, isn't that so great? Aren't we doing such a public service by allowing people to be authentic? No, you're not, and you're not, and it's a mechanism of control. You're forced. I've said this in the past. Okay, people don't like being objectified, and I can understand that, right? It's fair enough to not like to be objectified, sure, but there is something even worse than being objectified, and that's being forcibly subjectified. This is how it feels. When you go to HR and the HR lady says, "Oh yeah, I'm listening and I'm learning." That's what it feels like to be forcibly subjectified, because you're turned into a subject who's not really you. It's like, I didn't want to be here right now, I go on to some of these platforms and it's like, what do you think? Tell us who you are. Tell us about yourself. Give us your thoughts on this. Give it to, and it's like, I don't want to do that. No, like, leave me alone. I don't want to tell you anything. Like that, this forcible subjectification. Have opinions, have thoughts, and say everything all the time. I don't know, man. Like, maybe I just want to like hole up in my room and watch some anime for a while. Like, I don't know, man. Like, that's kind of how I feel about forced subjectification. It can be even worse than objectification, and we have to be careful of it. And we got to use all the tools in our toolboxes to maintain our level of evasion and negotiation with power. And one of those tools, which has been thus far underrepresented, is the tool of silence, of disappearance, of the secret, keeping things on the down low, right? Keeping things secret and invisible, imperceptible, and expressing yourself a little less. It's not always good. There are times when that too is repressive, but it's not also always bad, and we should be. I think it's something interesting. I like that. I find it interesting. Anyway, that's that. It's been like I didn't mean to talk for this long. You know me. Once you get me started, it's hard to get me to stop, which is the whole problem of all of this. Anyway, there you go.